pillows, cheap. I got 26,000 of them. I gotta move. I'll give you all of them for $1 a piece. You can do me a favor. Oh, shit, man, I got everything. I got beanies, I got black beauties, I got pink heart, yellow jackets, reds, grass, speed, acid, Percodan, Dexys, Valium, Atarax, Dragon X, Chinese ladies. I got the everything, dude, man. You name it, I got it. I got a pill make you throw up and don't worry about it. I got a pill make you throw up and die. I got another pill make you dumb so hard. You could fuck half of Hong Kong, I'm telling you. But the deal of the day is these nudes, man. 26,000 of them, Swiss like the clubs. $1 a piece, you can't lose.
Good hello. This is Dr. Oslo Norway, Chief of Psychedelic Psychiatry at UMN. Yes, and welcome to Artificial Paradise. And by the way, we first want to thank Over the Edge for giving up this time right in the middle of their year-long campaign to single-handedly brainwash the American listening public into seeing digitized reality. But we at UMN thought it was that important to interrupt that series with an even more urgent program guide to reality. A program every doctor should be listening to concerning the over-medication of America. To put it more succinctly, drugs. What are they? Who's selling them? Who wants them and why? It's an artificial paradise of altered chemicals and the brains they affect out there. And, with me on Drug Quest tonight... No, it's not Drug Quest at all. That would be illegal. With me to discuss the artificial paradise tonight is Ray the Druggist, former owner of Ray's Drugs over on University Avenue. Nice to see you, Ray.
Momentous occasion, Oslo.
Yes, and also here to analyze the artificial paradise, Dr. Sigmund Void. Good greetings to you, Doctor.
Good evening, Oslo. A pleasure to rejoin you and the listeners in the Bay Area.
And a great honor to have an authority such as yourself on hand for this important program. Now, let me start with Ray. You all remember Ray the Druggist, don't you? Ray's Drugs, the store with the drug song jukebox over on University. And we do have the drug song jukebox here tonight, don't we, Ray?
We certainly do.
Drugged it in.
It's
and
an
it's
original
right over
vintage
there.
Wurlitzer jukebox. And as you recall, Ray's Drug was founded by my father, who was also known as Ray.
Really?
And until we were put out of business in the 80s by the wretched Walmart fascist international, but I won't go into that right now, we stocked every drug-associated song in the known universe. And since then, I've kept it up to date by having special vinyl pressings made of songs that have since been released only on CD. So the jukebox is hot and stocked. All you have to do is give me a letter and a number. Were you sure that my equipment is working here, Oslo?
Let's test that out, Ray.
Yeah, I've got a tape playing right now.
We'll do a little sound check here before we start, just to make sure everything is straight, as we say.
Yeah, well, if you I'll say a few more words about Ray's Drugs for those who...
Is your equipment ready to play, or
there's something playing right now on the
cassette. I think we should try it out before the show becomes too interesting.
Well, there's something playing. I have a cassette playing right at the moment.
Oh, you do? I hear nothing.
Indeed.
Well, there you go. Isn't
you
that
try
the way?
CD,
You have the pots up. You have the you're seeing no signal in the mixer.
Si, senor.
Let me put on some thinking
Oh,
music.
yeah. Why don't you go back into your pre-programmed psychedelia?
This is almost horrible, Ray, because there's no time now to fix any of that.
Oh, I think the horrors have just begun, actually.
Why don't we hear anything? Oh, I know why. Ray, can you speak for a while, because I forgot to plug your mixer.
I was attempting to do that just a moment ago. I wanted to reminisce because I know there are many
right.
of your listeners who do remember Ray's drugs.
I'm going to do some technical wiring in the KPFA brain here.
Go right ahead.
And you keep talking.
You go right ahead, because all I can do is talk right now. And anyway, so that was back when Over the Edge ran from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Oh, those were the days.
And you had to get the prescription right, believe me, to be up and lively at those hours.
Oh, God.
And, you know, when it all started out, you could buy all the drugs you wanted legally.
Here's the thing.
Decide for yourself what you ought to be taking.
Wait a minute, Ray. Before you take anything, I'm only getting the right channel. Any reason for that?
Because I'm not totally wired.
Oh, you aren't. I'm only getting the right channel.
Why don't you come over and look at this thingamajig while
right,
I
keep
talk
talking.
about the history of the so-called war on drugs. You know, I was watching the news yesterday, and there was Rumsfeld. Remember him? One of the great villains of the 21st century, and quite a record in the 20th century as well. Well, he's talking now that they're going to have to roll up the war on drugs into the war on terrorism for the war on narco-terrorism, it shall be known now. And I'm saying, why don't they just throw all their sails to the wind and call it the war against communist narco-terrorist boogeymen? I mean, that's what they are driving toward. Get there, for Christ's sake. Can I say Christ's sake on the radio anymore? Well, you know, luckily I'm a Leo, and we're the sun sign of Leo, and we Leos never mind being the center of attention, so I don't mind soliloquizing here, but I certainly hadn't planned to. And I want to thank a couple of people right now. We want to thank Bella Johnson and Peter John Stone, real name, for providing us with cookies tonight. I am in the habit of eating cookies. Well, that doesn't solve the cassette problem. It's great to do this on the other. This is called Process. It came in with the Abstract Expressionists, where you left the drips in there. And I want to go back a few years when we were taking those prescriptions and doing the Over the Edge starting at 2 a.m. We used to...
Way back.
You remember when... what's his name? The weatherman used to get in laughing jags. That was a good aspect Over the Edge in those days. Well, we'll come back to this, but what about the cassettes? Tape player. Here we go. We're in business. You know, we don't like to step on Dirk's territory by setting up too early, so we have to set up in about, 30 seconds between shows. And just getting that jukebox through the door was no easy quest. We're on a quest to understand what's the nature behind drug use. The pleasure principle will never be defeated as long as drugs exist, and of course there'll only ever be more drugs in addition to the natural ones given to us by God. People will be taking them and circumventing whatever measures there are to prevent them from taking them.
Ray, I don't know what your problem is, but I'm going to make you mono, and you're going to have to live with it.
Well, I wouldn't characterize it as my problem, but it is a problem.
It's our problem. All right, so I've got you at least, and you'll be mono, but most people are stoned and can't tell the difference. I also find most people put their speakers too close together, and so it's really hard to define stereo in most cases anyway. Plus, I find most production today is very meek on the stereo. They don't accentuate it. You hardly know things were stereo anymore.
And we're putting out a call to Mr. XYZ if he's out there in the listening audience. Come on in, Mr. XYZ.
So it's back to mono here
on
on
Over the Edge. It's never too late.
Edge.
We're expecting you.
An Artificial Paradise tonight with Ray the Druckus, and Dr. Sigmund Void will be along too. Now, Ray, let's give that old jukebox a whirl.
Now, you know how it works. You never gave me a chance to explain. Either you or myself.
That's my plan.
Pick a letter from A to Z and a number from 1 to 10.
We have a call. Maybe it's a request.
Yeah, take this call for today. I don't care what you do.
They went away. Our number here is 510-848-4425, and you can call us from anywhere in the world at your expense. If you'd like to make a request, a drug song, one of your favorites from the old days.
In fact, we're not inviting them to request specific songs. They can try to win those songs by guessing the right letter and number, because we have every known drug song available to us, but there are 260 loaded up, actually.
How are they going to win?
They can call in, and they win whatever song corresponds to the letter and the number from 1 to 10, which they select themselves.
I think we should basically dump as much LSD-25 on the Jaff as humanly possible.
Now you're talking.
I'll
dump it on who?
The CIA wants me to do this.
I think with Omar Sharif you were dumping this on?
Yeah, I'd be first, or Makata Sauter. He is in use of a good dosing.
And what drugs are you on right now, sir?
Just, you know...
Come on, I'll tell you everything I'm on.
All
right, I started the day with a
Proud
generic for Excedrin migraine. I'm sorry, that was a Safeway generic for Excedrin migraine.
Yeah.
I've had several cups of coffee, and I've had a cookie that was baked to Brownie Mary style with the potent essence of marijuana.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
And, how about yourself? Let's come clean. What have you done tonight?
Just the brownie sort of thing. Except that, I just smoked a joint.
Joint and a brownie.
Yeah, that's about it.
Come on, no prescription over-the-counter or any other sort of drug?
No
alcohol?
No.
Alcohol?
They got all that
no cigarettes?
They got Pickard in 2000.
How about cigarettes, fella?
No.
Okay.
They got all that when they got Pickard in 2000.
Well, you sound like you got a head on your shoulders.
Silo. That was like where it was all coming from. Now it's just dried up.
What about that jukebox, Ray?
Ready, I suppose.
Does he win?
Well, wait a minute. Keep talking to this fellow, would you?
All right, you win. Congratulations.
Oh, no.
No, this guy tells us a letter and a number, sir.
Oh, okay. Where can we deliver that letter and number?
That would be 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C.
Okay, they haven't accepted our mail.
One letter from the alphabet and one number, from 1 to 10. Sir.
Oh, that would be L and 2.
He did it.
L2. It's a golden oldie from the 70s, and it's called Now I Want to Sniff Some Glue by the Ramones. We lost 2 of them to drugs in recent years, and we almost lost a 3rd this past year.
Let me start the jukebox.
Okay.
Turn off that cassette.
Doodles.
Now I want us to sungliss. Now I want to have something to do. All the kids want us to sungliss. All the kids want something to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Sounded just horrible, Ray. Is that the fidelity?
It might get better.
Is easy.
Was that
thousands of internet sites.
What's
some of
that?
them
I
with
was
no
deliberately
prescription.
overdriving
All it
that one
takes
for
is a
fun.
credit card.
Turn off
and
your
a few
cassette.
answers to a short questionnaire.
Also, in preparation for tonight's program, we sent our artificial paradise microphone out on the streets of Berkeley to interview some of Berkeley's typical stoned youth. Here's what they had to say.
The first time I snorted Chiva, I didn't even know what it was. I was over at Owen's, and I think that's the first time Owen and I made out. But that's another thing. Anyway, turns out Chiva's heroin. It's just like another name for it, like junk or smack or whatever. And it was everywhere. 9 kids have died from the stuff in the last 10 months. It's weird. Even with that, it still felt like nothing bad could happen to us. Our town's what they call a pop-up city. It basically means a lot of people with a lot of money looking for somewhere to hide from the problems of the rest of the world. We had our own malls, our own neighborhoods, our own everything. All this stuff and nothing to do. I guess the dealer saw a bunch of bored kids with a bunch of money and figured, hey.
I'm at a loss.
Suicide Man, you must have contemplated drugs many times.
But I'm not lost. I have a letter and a number to offer.
And yet, you've somehow managed never to lose it after all these years, Suicide Man. Great to hear from you that you're still walking the earth.
I couldn't hear you on the phone. I can only hear you online.
Oh, now can you?
We're doing our damnedest.
Well, they're right now, Suicide Man, so call back.
I made it through.
And you can hear me, right?
I can hear you good.
All right.
So, what's up?
Technically perfect, chemically imperfect.
Okay. Guess what? It's my birthday.
What did you take for your birthday?
I got really hammered because it's my 21st birthday.
Well, could you perhaps delineate in specificity what you took to so-called intoxicate yourself today?
I legally got drunk for the first time.
On what?
On alcohol.
Yeah, specifically.
And I got kind of high earlier in the morning.
What brand?
A whole bunch.
What do you mean, kind of high?
Oh, well, I didn't.
What do you mean, a whole bunch?
A whole bunch of alcohols. Different alcohols, and then I got to scrape my pipe here soon because I'm a little low.
Oh, isn't that a sad state of affairs?
I know, on my birthday, too.
And you know, we grow so much in this state. Everybody could have all of the High Times cover centerfold stuff they wanted if only the government would get out of the way and make money off of it.
Yeah, really.
Rather than have
you
this...
go to the store and buy, like, little pre-rolled packs of, like, weed cigarettes.
Why not?
Why not?
Well, Dr. Boyd's going to address those subjects very shortly.
Oh, that's good. Thank you,
So,
Dr.
sir, how about a letter and a number? We could play a jukebox hit for you.
Okay. Well, how high do the numbers go?
Just to 10. So it's A to Z, 1 to 10.
E2.
E2. That's a great one. That's called Dire Tribe by a 90s, or actually a 21st century group called Gomez from England, who are in the great drug-taking tradition. This is called Dire Tribe.
Right on. Thank you.
Let's see if it works.
Well, laughing.
I can hear the audio now just fine. What a sweet, wonderful thing all this. I mean, you good.
It's true.
In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be out on the playa, and I will be immeasurably
Sounds like Ben Folds 5. Out there. It's just that that from a tourist pamphlet on the fish of Hawaii that the nightmare goatfish was reported to have reality-altering properties if you ate the head and the tails. And there was a story about some Japanese fishermen who ate them, and they described the effect in the nightmares as having your head be lower than your feet.
I felt like that before when I smoked Salvia divinorum.
They're hard to catch fish.
I would expect so.
And I bet a lot of the Hawaiians are after them. They know it.
Sounds like fun.
One of my favorite drug songs was, I do not sniff the coke, I only smoke Sinsemilla. I hope somebody gets a number for that one.
You're welcome to try, sir.
You know, we're just beginning. In 65 and 66, everybody was starting to discover themselves, really. You know, and psychoactive drugs were starting to appear. And remember, LSD was legal back then.
It's off right now. You have to keep playing. Yeah, don't leave any signal.
Makes you larger and the one makes you small. I don't ever wanna see you crying.
The neighborhood also had its own newspaper, The Oracle. The Oracle was the brainchild of Alan Cohen, a poet from New York who embraced the hippie rainbow dream. Based on simple notions and innocence, the Haight-Ashbury community offered a nurturing environment. The flower children believed that life on the planet could be cherished.
There's a lot of idealism. One of the ironies, and perhaps a foolish irony, was that we were going to save the world. And we really meant it.
Acting funny, but I don't know why. Excuse me while I kiss this guy.
Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
Old Tom Edison, mixing up the medicine, messing up time from Accrington to Amazon. See them all come with the wires and booms and their richy little bums saying, play a funky drum. The star, beats to the bar, poor Gustudgeon lying in his car, down in the basement, messing with the moment, alchemy and elements, smashing up your instrument, old Thomas Edison, mixing up the medicine, messing up time from Accrington to Amazon. See them all come with the wires and booms and their richy little bums saying, play a funky drum.
If you're going to be a group leader on the assembly line, a harvest crew boss, clerical group leader, labor gang leader, recreational group leader, or etc., you must specify the type of equipment, such as a clam shovel operator, derrick operator, monorail crane operator, dragline operator, Euclid operator, etc., baker's helper, carpenter's helper, janitor's helper, plumber's assistant on the other hand, or a welder's helper, etc.
I got room for a shot, Peter, Larry.
Card puncher, a tabulator we could use, or a sorting machine operator, proof machine operator, air brake inspector, got any film inspectors, or motor vehicle inspectors, liquor license inspectors, safety inspectors, cloth inspectors, pipe inspectors, etc. I'd like to try some of that marijuana, if you don't mind. A few furnace installers, window installers, intercom installers, jack-up installers, and insurance claim investigators. Clam washers, dermatology technicians.
Which end of this do you smoke? The pointed end, or the little one that's folded over?
The one that looks like the bombs we used to drop on the Jerry's.
Right on, Daddy.
Yeah, that's how my son got me.
Yeah. Oh, here's some of this. There's my son who grows this on.
Thank you very much. Boo hiss. Dishwasher, meat carvers, salad girls, and sandwich makers are also very much in demand.
And now, Dr. Sigmund Void has a few words on the subject. What is the subject? Artificial paradise. Here tonight on Over the Edge. This is KPFA in Berkeley, and this is Dr. Sigmund Void.
Yes, that's from Baudelaire. Baudelaire's Artificial Paradise. He was referring to his experiments with hashish and wine and absinthe and so forth.
This was in Europe.
Yes.
But not here, folks. Don't worry.
So tonight I'm going to read a work by I thought I'd share some readings and meditations and thoughts with you tonight. And this one is from a classic of the Beat Generation called Narcotica by a wonderful San Francisco poet Philip Lamantia. This is 1959. I demand extinction of laws prohibiting narcotic drugs. Against you, psychiatrists, would-be conscience of the people, no more. Against you, doctors, druggists, sociologists, idiots, asses, the whole fucking load of that perpetually characteristic known as stupidity to elevate the most detestable nada, that void attempting the determination of states of being, and which goes under the name of safety. Fuck your safety. Who needs it? Meanwhile, your flaunted machine age drags with it incredible anguish, insanity, stupidity, performed on a mass scale. The plague is on and fear stalks your hearts, you bastards. Bastards precisely because you are rabble-men, public selfish security hounds, because there you have no saints among you, because you are the pissants of all time, grey, black, dull, dud-suited little men and women. You are not going to and do not have the right to tell me or anyone what to smoke or not smoke, eat or not eat, what's good and what's bad, you stinking prohibitors of the cure for most of the world's anguish. You turds, fucked up middle class. Drop dead with your asshole, mammon, Moloch, money, motivated laws. It is I who am the law. I defy you to say it is not my human right to use any God-given herb, plant, and powder for my physical and psychic well-being, or in any way rational to obtain the divine drugs at hand without having to deal with a clandestine, profiteering criminal underworld at prices made for millionaires. Instead of sensational newsmongering, the leftovers of countless unfortunate junkies, why don't you learn about the truth about the heroic drugs? Why don't you move to lift the bans on narcotic medicines that never harm those who know them and need them, unless, of course, they are frustrated by police disorder via self-destroying illicit trade, plus the creation of phony addicts through sensationalist literary and news accounts. License the true addicts. Give them pure heroin and controlled habits. Hands off marijuana. Keep peyote free. Stop killing human beings with your damned laws.
And now, a special listener response to that reading.
That was wonderful, and I wish it could be repeated more. Have you guys ever heard of 2CI?
No.
Oh, it's an experimental drug. It was recently declared an illegal analog of 2CB.
Well, you know the first question everyone wants to know. What does it do?
It's a psychedelic drug. In low doses, it stimulates you. In high doses, it makes your mind work in wonderful ways. Pattern recognition goes out the window. And your body feels completely weird. And that's the only word to explain it.
Weird can mean many things.
There's a strong, strong feeling of having to burp constantly. But
hey, that sounds really pleasant, fella.
Yeah. It is.
Well, you know, I tried 2/3 of the pharmacist registry in my day, and every known street drug until about crack came on the scene. And to tell you the truth, all I like now is the good produce of California.
What I always found useful was the physician's desk reference in the library.
And check them off as you take them?
Well, somebody brought me some amyl nitrate. This is in this disco era, and asked me if they thought it was safe to take. And I looked it up and found that it was used to revive stopped hearts. And on that basis, I advised them not to inhale them. But apparently, they were really a big deal in the disco.
You seem way over the edge emotionally.
In fact, the first 8 cases
like 2 hours.
that were using them in discos, and they thought that they were actually causing a shutdown of the immune system by using amyl nitrates. But of course, we learned that wasn't the case.
took her son to see a series of doctors.
None of the half-dozen professionals.
Well, I'll tell you, amyl nitrate is probably not very good for immune systems.
I like nitrous oxide better myself.
Now that's the thing. At Burning Man, it seems to be what the people hidden away seem to indulge in as much as anything. But that doesn't really kill you or anything, does it?
Well, you know, I've been high on everything that there is to get high on a good crack. And I love it when I go to the dentist and he turns the nitrous oxide up real high, and it's on for quite a while, and man, but you get far out.
Yeah.
I went to a dentist once, but when I asked them to give me nitrous, and frankly, they never gave me as much as I was used to getting in recreational settings. I never heard the buzzing. audio hallucination.
Well, that's when you tell your dentist that you need more.
Exactly.
Or else you're going to slap him in the face.
You know, they have all sorts of very arcane and Byzantine laws that say that unless the patient complains about a very specific problem, you can't offer them more medication, more pain medication, more nitrous.
You got to speak up, huh?
You got to ask for it, and then the doctor's off the hook.
Incidentally, I came upon a record, a drug-related record, which was long out of print. That finally, after
I bet we know it.
It's A Child's Garden of Grass.
Oh yeah, classic of the '60s, and the book, accompanying book with the same cover art.
Yes, we'll be playing Love of Grass a little later on.
I see. Well, it was so nice to hear that once again. Thanks.
Well, wait a minute, Suicide Man.
Yes.
How about a letter and a number from 1 to 10?
L5.
L5. You have chosen the
choice.
classic Puff the Magic Dragon, as performed by Gregory Isaacs. The Jamaica style.
But that wasn't the drug song.
Puff the magic dragon who lived by the sea and frolicking the autumn mist in a land called Annalee. Little Jackie Paper loved the rascal Puff and brought him strings and sealing wax and all the fancy stuff. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicking the autumn mist in a land called Annalee. Little Jackie Paper loved the rascal Puff and brought him strings and sealing wax and all the fancy stuff.
Whatever it is, that girl put a spell on me.
Celebrex should not be taken if you've had aspirin-sensitive asthma or allergic reaction due to aspirin or other arthritis medicines or certain drugs called sulfonamides.
Eaton Waterbury, respected wholesale druggist, reached across his desk and picked up the phone. Hello?
Unfortunately, it isn't ringing. That number is 510-848-4425. Right here on Over the Edge, the Artificial Paradise tonight, with Ray the Druggist and Dr. Sigmund Boyd.
Rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning.
And we're not going to I wish I could talk.
You know, I think you need a good puff-a-pod.
I wish we could not neglect.
You're dyslexic from want of marijuana, so your brain cells are used to having marijuana. You haven't had enough tonight.
Legal drugs.
Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems.
Tell us what you want. We got a cornucopia or a pharmacopoeia here tonight.
Maybe you should stop trying
to
samples,
manage it on your own. Samples. We got every street drug. What do you want, Don? What is look at Oslo?
Oslo, what do you want with this show? What do you want? What do you want to achieve?
Yeah.
What do I
What
want to
is the
achieve?
purpose
of this?
I think it's a comprehensive exposure of all aspects of drug taking in America today.
Well, then?
An overview, if you will.
Well, yeah.
I can say that
This is a good name. Artificial Paradise is a perfect name for the show.
Wasn't there a song, Ray, named Artificial Paradise that we never found? Somebody did a song called Artificial Paradise.
DJ Cole or something?
I don't know. The name is it's real familiar as a song, but I don't know who did it.
I don't know if you could really say this, but the chemical 2CI doesn't make an artificial paradise, but it makes everything look beautiful.
Yep, it's true. It's very, very true about that 2CI. It's a shame that it got illegal.
Yeah.
Really?
And it was a shame that the person that was distributing it on the internet was busted for 10 counts of murder.
Yep, that's true too. It's very shameful. Artificial Paradise. Well, so Don, you want to review all drugs?
Yes, I want your thoughts on drugs. I want your experiences on drugs. Many people have had very interesting experiences.
Well, somebody was saying something about salvia earlier.
Yes, salvia divinorum.
I would run and I would have very, very strong hallucinations, like I was an alien or I was naked and I've been this place for thousands of years.
and like I'm a stick figure. I don't know. This is a powerful hallucinogen. It wasn't very pleasant, or a lot of people don't find it pleasant.
I didn't find it pleasant when I did it. It seemed that my reality was put on the edge of a Rolodex that was rapidly spinning.
Well,
Hey, do you two guys know each
break
other?
apart vertically.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, hello, Henry.
Hello, Mike.
How are you
different
doing?
extensions in the same house or something?
No, he's in California.
It's a small
He's
world.
in New York.
Small
Polar
world
left, you're in New York, eh?
when it comes to drugs.
Polar left, what's your favorite recreational drug? This is all anonymous. There's no tracing on your phone calls. Come on, let's all be
it's all
really
about
honest
the
tonight.
psilocybin mushrooms. That's what it's all about.
You had
I mean,
to-
it's been around since
Do you know
before
much about-
humans, and
Yes. Do you know much about your psilocybin that you took? Or you didn't happen to go to Mexico and take the psilocybin zapoteca, which is the greatest in the world?
no, I don't know how exactly these were grown.
Probably domestic cow pie psilocybins, which was a great fun trip, and just the mushroom in general is better than the sort of synthetics, which tend to have a little intestinal nervousness, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Ooh, intestinal nervousness.
What dose
That's
do you
something I'm
suggest?
familiar
Like,
with.
How high of a dose do you suggest, Ray?
Well, when in the summer of '74, I was down in Mexico, in Oaxaca, and we'd go up in the mountains there, and we'd get a little collection of mushrooms. And the story of my drug taking has always been of leaping in too far my first time, if you know what I mean.
Go on, I'm listening.
First time I got drunk, I thought I had to guzzle a pint of Tango, which was a cheap vodka orange juice crap, and wine together. And of course, I got very sick and passed out and so forth. First time I took LSD, the guy sells it to me and says, Ray, young Ray, this is good 4 ways, and this is 1968 or so, and I didn't know what he meant by 4 ways, and he meant it was for 4 people, and I took the whole thing myself.
What happened?
Oh, well, I'll tell you something. It was years before I tried LSD again, and I was wondering, how do all these other kids in high school seem so less well-adjusted than me? How are they getting away with taking LSD? And then finally, I tried what they were taking, and it was nothing compared to that first trip, which was, the whole
Of course,
birth,
I
death,
don't even
and
want to. I don't even dare with today's quote-unquote acid. It's so fake. So
I don't know about it today,
because
because
all about the mushroom. What were you saying about Oaxaca?
Okay, so I was going to go back to that. Oaxaca was the first time that I actually exhibited caution in my first dosage, if you follow.
Yeah.
Because my other one after the big acid trip, which in fact I look back with no regret, in fact very enlightening and ontologically expository.
It was just intense.
But yes, and a little scary for a 16-year-old, if you know what I mean. So the next time was, I tried sniffing heroin once. This is age 18. And it was a fun little giggle, So these friends, we were after cocaine, which I'd also tried, sniffing. And we suddenly found ourselves in the lair of a junkie girl in our dormitory who insisted that a dime split 3 ways in heroin wouldn't be enough. So we had to split 2 dimes so she could throw in 5 and get her usual near overdose, which for me was a real overdose.
Well, what about Oaxaca?
I'm getting there. So that's by the time 74, and I was 23, I was a little older and wiser. We got up in the mountains where the mushrooms were, and it was a wonderful, wonderful situation. I mean, Indians, and I'm sure now it's different, but just sweet people who you liked giving your money to. And for the equivalent of $1.60, you get enough mushrooms for a whammo-bammo trip.
How many grams dried?
And they were fresh. And you see, the telepathic agents are only active in them for the first 4 hours after picking. So in fact, you'd go to the places.
About telepathy?
It's been demonstrated in laboratories.
I've experienced techno. I don't have a word for it.
Breaking down.
Technological problems when.
You're more in the Terrence McKenna generation than I am,
Yeah,
So anyway, so they would give you 2 mushrooms: the psilocybin zapoteca, which is and Gordon Wasson is the big expert on ethnomycology, which is the study of people using mushrooms, and he verified that zapoteca is the strongest psilocybin, and then you take it with a phalloid mushroom, a smaller phalloid.
What is that, MAO?
Phalloid means penis-shaped mushrooms.
Yeah, that's what you got to go with if you're going to get a
Those were called Sana Cedrus, and they call them Dorumba down there.
Boy,
so the two together.
You guys are going way over
I'm
my
just
head
getting
here.
I'm just getting to the point of my story.
What happened when he took
Allow me another minute.
Let's keep this for a general audience.
No, allow me one more minute. So we get there, and I have an attack of mild tourista, so I don't eat the mushrooms right away. And my friend who I've come down with has great big eyes and eats this enormous amount of the mushrooms because they're so delicious and beautiful. And then I'm just
also tasty.
I'm just smoking sinsemilla, and he sort of gets higher and higher, likes it. Then he falls asleep. So, and I say, well, I'm feeling better. I'm going to take some of the mushrooms. Luckily, for the first time, I showed prudence and did not take an overdose because he woke up from his sleep as I'm waiting to get off, and he's in a nightmare realm. He's thinking I'm saying things to him that I'm not. He's talking in blurred slow motion. And that's where the telepathy comes in. Once you're on the mushrooms, you can understand the blurred slow motion speech.
Yeah, well,
anyway,
you should have done it at the same time.
Thank you for your attention, audience.
Were you basically alone with this person and tripping?
My friend?
Yes?
Yes, and there was a third party with us, but he was so acclimated and a long-time dweller in that region that I don't recall him being in our tent. I think he found some accommodations in an actual structure with some of the natives. So that was Marcos. He was our guide. And so we would take... So we bought more mushrooms than we could consume, and what you would do is you'd put them in honey once you got back, and that you couldn't even keep that in your place, because if the federales ever caught you with anything, the penalties were so great. So we had to have a little hole in the garden where you had a tile and then weeds you pulled over it, and the honey and the mushrooms were there. So they didn't keep as well as they might have in a refrigerator, but they started to lose their potency rather quickly. But the honey then became psychedelic. I mean, it was a whole trip.
Oh, yes. Did the honey become mead, alcohol? Do you think?
Well, no, it became psychedelic honey.
I understand that.
Mead is a fermented thing that has honey as its base. You guys are far out. How about a letter and a number from you before we dump you?
2Z.
2Z? Z2?
Z2. In memory of 2CI.
Yep. Good night.
Good night.
Let me do the intro. An Alabama song by David Johansen.
Oh, show us the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For we must find the next whiskey bar. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. Oh, moon, la, 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 la. We now must say goodbye. We've lost our dear mama and must have whiskey, oh, you know why.
LSD.
The drug doesn't create anything. The drug, LSD, is not, it is a catalyst. It works with your mind, whatever your mind creates.
A new market.
I wrote that. Pretty powerful, huh? Yeah, it's a powerful argument against drugs enhancing creativity. Made me junkie. You calling me a junkie? Man, you. Look at that. You shoot, I snore.
Is there a less ironic time, you guys?
Baby, please, I'm trying to prove a point here. Look, you perform a medical procedure. I'm only experimenting.
Yeah, I've conducted those experiments too.
Oh, damn it.
Along with the music, drugs were indispensable to the growing New Age mysticism of the Haight-Ashbury. For many who indulged, drugs offered pleasure and enlightenment. A release from the constraints of conventional society. Even a spiritual experience with God. The most popular drugs of choice were marijuana and LSD, or acid.
Marijuana was the common everyday drug. You sat down with your friends at night or for dinner and you smoked a joint. You met someone and you smoked a joint. LSD was something you used for a special event, special occasion, to go to the Avalon or the Fillmore.
It was a fine garden that Antonio Carrozzi kept. There were tall, aggressive beanstalks, jungles of resonant tomato vines, ears of corn like golden footballs.
Zoloft is not for everyone. People taking MAOIs or femicide shouldn't take Zoloft.
Snorting heroin is almost the perfect high.
And out front, placed there to conceal
Get in there, yo. Oh, that's where that came from?
300 spindly marijuana plants.
What? This fucking thing has brought us. Fuck!
I didn't even know it could be smoked, Carrozzi said when North Tarrytown, New York police harvested the offending shoots.
You know, I look at Scarface as, like I said, a ghetto tale. I don't look at Scarface as a drug movie. It's way beyond selling coke and selling drugs. It's about coming up.
And planted a drug charge on the 57-year-old Italian immigrant, which was later discharged.
Side effects may include dry mouth, insomnia, sexual side effects, diarrhea, nausea, and sleepiness.
Probably everybody in the dance was high. Probably 90% of the people in the dance were high on LSD.
You want me to come in? We start over again, man?
He visited his native village, Carmanda, in the Abruzzi
And she just looks at him and then looks back at the TV.
Brought back a packet of cannabis seeds. Camardan, as he recalled from his youth, used cannabis fibers to make thread and cloth.
One of the most
hardcore scene was when you do. Since brother get chopped up, that was a crazy scene with a But as a true trooper, man.
Not only did I indulge in it, I reveled in it.
So I love his boy in the bathtub, but he wasn't going to compromise the deal.
What's your level up?
He had a mission.
Higher, level higher.
No matter what happened. He wasn't going to rap.
Yeah.
Loyalty setting in right now, man. You got 2 keys, you got the money, you could have just cut. But he took it to Frank.
You took the money? Yeah. And I got the yayo.
You love that. Like, he comes back with the money.
Perhaps every night. Almost every night we played, we were high.
I ain't taking it to Lopez myself.
We all know it's a crazy game, you know what I'm saying? He's still.
Its seeds are used in soups and candies.
All I have in this world is
The kids used to carry them in their pockets and eat them like peanuts. Ironically, only the leaves are thrown away.
Everybody's have movement to it.
Always I wondered why in America, where they have everything, they did not have
just when the money started coming. Fuck yourself up right there, man.
And that's what really formed this music.
Strong-minded person. Drugs clouded his thoughts so much.
We could have never done it straight.
He couldn't see his man loving it, so he had to take some type of action.
There's no way.
That was his best friend that came up together and they killed him.
I look everywhere for them.
Mixed cocaine with adrenaline and ego, and you have a man who in his own mind is just short of God.
Even in the bird season. How come, I wonder, they do not have? Now I know.
Biggest dealer in the Italian section.
The biggest and the best.
Yeah, they used to eat these things, officers.
Hey, we're having a real drug abuse enhancement party here tonight. Or should I say substance abuse, if you're using other things besides drugs. But of course, under the rubric of drugs, we include alcohol, ciggy booze.
I always liked Fee Waybill doing White Punks on Dope.
Yeah, but you can't request a song, but you could give us a letter and a number, and you just might get White Punks on Dope, because that's in the jukebox.
I was going B-52, but that's over 10, right?
Yeah, okay, B-52 will be... No, you're going to go up to 10.
Okay, Miami Vice would be another goofy sugar frog.
Hey,
tell you what,
A1, but tell you... Oh, A1, that's cool. But you have anything you want to relate about your personal drug use over the this rather vigorous broadcast?
A lot of green bud around in the middle.
He likes the green bud. You know what? It's 1 o'clock, and I think Don Oslo has to agree to have a little puff, because he's pretty straight so far.
That's sure been a lot of go fast in the last few months.
Because he's had nicotine and coffee up the wazoo.
Oh, coffee.
What if you were living a lie?
Different about this day? What is it that smells so
White punch on dope,
clean
bro.
and delicious?
Yeah, okay, we're going to play A1 for you whenever Oslo gives me the go-ahead.
Way cool. Thanks.
No pop.
You're a swell fella.
Hello.
Hello, hello. You want to give a letter? You can be the next on the jukebox. Our jukebox can hold numbers.
C4.
C4?
Yeah.
And do you want to talk about your personal drug enjoyment?
To be a star.
How
I
about
wanted him to put another 20 pounds on.
What do you like?
Illegal steroids.
Not steroids, I hope.
Methamphetamine.
Meth. Oh, no wonder you're up at this hour, huh? This is just getting started for you.
Oh, it's my morning.
Yeah, well, we're going to do you wanted C4, we have A1, we're going to do a station ID very shortly, as soon as Oslo steps up to the plate.
A story every parent should see.
Vallejo is the land of plenty.
What is the land of plenty?
Vallejo is the city of the land of plenty.
We could be growing so much good herb here, and we are, but we could be doing it like 10 times as much.
About the refineries.
Oh, the refineries make your methamphetamine. I get it. You go around the back, and they have a little pipe that comes out, and you put your nose up around that pipe, and it shoots methamphetamine into your nose.
No, you smoke it.
You smoke meth?
Yeah.
Is that called crank or something? I mean,
yes.
Or is there a special little pet name you have for it?
Just dope.
Yeah, you call it your dope.
Dope.
Well, it
That's
keeps
all
life
it
from
is.
being as boring as it might be without it, I suppose.
Hey, it made me get involved with my friend's wife.
Yeah, you do ever try ecstasy?
Never have. I heard that punches holes in your brain.
Like meth is good for you, huh?
Yeah. At least you're aware
meth
of
freaks
your
go around making that argument, I know.
You're aware of punching the
desert.
hole.
They say, it's wrong for some people, but meth is okay for me. It's really the good thing for me. It's like a vitamin.
For some reason, a lot of desert lower-class people like methamphetamines.
Oh, don't get classist on us, please,
All
Suicide
classes.
Man.
Well, I'm just noticing the kind of people that...
Have you ever tried meth? Have you ever tried meth? Maybe you'd like it. I noticed Hitler and his friends liked it.
You've got a point. Then people would label me as one of those people. But
You would. People like you, snobs. You're a snob.
No, I'm not a snob. I just don't do methamphetamines.
And you're a snob about those who do.
But the thing is, speaking of desert drugs, apparently somebody died recently in Joshua Tree from eating or drinking Jimson tea, a Jimson weed tea.
There's dust on that story.
So what is his choice of drug?
Apparently the fatal dose, the psychoactive dose is about 3/5 of the fatal dose.
Hey, Suicide Man, did you answer whether you like any
She was horrified by
any
the
legal or
dramatic
illegal
change in
intoxicant
his
or what
behavior.
medicines or drugs you like to
He'd
use?
never been in a fist fight. He'd never had any behavior
Oh, no one
issues.
knows who you are.
Well, you know what? I think he might need
You like
to
Bud?
use some if he's
I love that immeasurably.
Do you like alcohol?
Only in moderation. I don't like the feeling of being drunk, but the only alcohol that I will start to feel that way is
Because you're a man with a pretty big
sake.
brain, I suspect.
Well,
But I don't like alcohol. It dulls the
Never
creativity.
be scared of me or anything, but
What
I
about
think
nitrous oxide? You never had that?
Oh, I love nitrous oxide, but I only do it at Burning
anabolic steroids.
You go to Burning Man?
Forms of the male hormone
You like have a sign
testosterone.
that says this is Suicide Man famous from
Oh,
20 some years of Over the Edge calling?
Could I ask him something?
There's going to be a planetarium out there. I'll be there.
Hey, Suicide Man, did you ever come in the station and do a show?
Yes, I did twice.
You did? You recognize me, Ray the Druggist?
I recognize your voice.
And
And
what
I
about Dr.
recognize
Void, who was here earlier?
Your heart. I used to live in Berkeley briefly.
How did you get the name Suicide Man?
Because people were found, I was exposing this scandal of people
He
being
would say
found
this
dead
constantly, but it wasn't
with
true.
their radios tuned to KPFA. This was between 2 and 7 a.m. Monday morning when they had that horrible stretch that drove many people to oblivion. You remember those days?
You know, I'm the garage guy, and it's like, I hear you.
Well, you know how Over the Edge is kind of metafictional at times?
Well, 20 years of listening to it.
Well, it's kind of morphing into reality radio nowadays.
It is.
That's the way
I am the
Oslo
oldest,
wants it.
Longest surviving caller.
You know, I'm the longest surviving surrealist on the show, and Don is kind of like veering off from surrealism toward sort of a pseudo-verite, you know?
Longest surviving host in radio, I believe now, Ray.
Longest surviving art radio. You know, I mentioned that. I ran into David Byrne on College Avenue over near the Safeway.
It's great to hear my reality in radio.
So there's going to be a dome out beyond the man with a planetarium digital projection, and I'll be out there.
Do you ever notice how everybody really wants to talk about themselves?
No, I'm talking about what'll be there. I'm only going to be a teeny piece of that.
A microscopic fabric.
What would you say to the proposition that Burning Man is now for squares?
Now for squares?
You heard me right.
It's like going to Italy. When you first go to Rome, you think it's great. Then after 10 years, you say, "Oh, they've ruined it." But the next generation of people.
Everybody says that about San Francisco too.
Yeah,
they said you should have been here 10 years ago.
Isn't Rome all ruined anyway? Ancient?
No, it's.
Yeah, I wonder if Vincenzo was out there.
One of those kind of places. Black Rock City is sort of like that, but it only exists for a week a year, and I just think it's cool. It's changed, I know.
Hey, let me make a public service announcement.
Okay.
Vincenzo, if you're out there and you're on drugs, come on in or give us a call. You have your cell phone with you, wherever you are. If you're in the listening audience, call in. We're wondering about you.
I've always wanted to try that I hope I get a chance to before I die.
Hey, I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, what was your letter again? C4?
C4.
I used to rave about.
When are we going to have another jukebox there, Oslo?
What is that stuff?
Ketamine?
It's one of those three-letter drugs.
Oh, GBH?
DMT.
Oh, DMT.
I've always wanted to try that.
I'll tell you my DMT story.
I hear it makes you feel that you're surrounded by a cartoon.
It was around 1976. I was in Provincetown, Massachusetts with two girlfriends of mine who had a fight with the girl who was going to let us sleep at her house. So at 2 a.m. we had to leave her house for the road. There were no cars on the road, and finally a car comes along and picks us up, asks us if we'd like to smoke some seaweed. So I'd heard of something called Norwegian wood that was a type of seaweed that got you high if you smoked it, and I said sure. Turned out it was DMT. And just as the sun was coming up, we got to their pad, which was festooned with 1 million prisms in these small New England cottage windows. And it was that was my one time with DMT. I never needed to try it again, but it was quite entertaining.
And brief.
And very brief. It wore off right away, yeah.
By the way, what do you know about what is that stuff that you? It's a sage. Salvia divinorum. What do you know about that? Is that?
What's its botanical name?
You know, Salvia divinorum.
It's psychedelic or just a stimulant?
I'm not sure what kind of I don't know what center of your consciousness it reaches out for. I'm not sure that it's a psychedelic, but you know, it's a legal substance, by the way. It's not an illegal drug at all at this point. But it's a strange thing that you smoke, and it gives you a disassociative thing, enough so that you're afraid to do it alone.
Or so you've read.
Yeah?
Or so you've read, or have you tried it?
Well, I've tried it. It's legal, so I can perfectly admit this. And it's one of those things that makes you feel like you're back into an ancient dream space that you've long forgotten.
Uh-huh.
I listened to a piece of music, God Only Knows, by the Beach Boys, and it was like
I'm familiar with that one.
First time in a very heavenly, elevated, sparkling kind of thing, like it was a inner genius exposed in a way you'd never imagined before.
Yeah.
I mean,
fascinating.
It's subjective, I know, but
we have A1 and C4 in the jukebox. Whenever Oslo's ready, we got the jukebox ready.
We have a couple callers on the line. Ray, should
well,
we
I got piled up with numbers.
Well, piling up with numbers doesn't hurt.
Okay, but you're going to strain my jukebox's memory. Hey, what was I going to say?
I was just wondering if you knew about that.
Let's run through these callers real fast. They may be stoned in a hurry.
Fascinating.
Is the conversation still about Salvia divinorum?
No, we left that hours ago, didn't we, Ray?
Yes, indeed. We're taking everything tonight, and we have to take them fast and move on to the next drug.
Oh, wow.
Salvia is a very, 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 very potent psychedelic, and like you said, it was legal, so all kinds of extracts are made and sold and consumed, and it's a very fascinating plant, very strong.
Well, I just wanted to drop a little info on the Salvador del Emilio. I've done this one, and it was a very, very intense period, but it was a very short period.
Well, what kind of intenseness? Like some kind of body
It's hard to explain. The best account it, I was sitting with my friend Scott, and we were, not to incriminate poor little Scott, but it's not illegal. So we were sitting there at his house, and his friend, who had an incredibly large collection of God knows what and everything else, showed up with a small glass pipe and a small amount of this absolutely incredible
But what was...
Yes?
When I did it, I saw giant golden rooms. Well, this is when I calmed down for a second, and when it hits you, you get a wave of, like, kind of like happiness, like, but it felt so very calming, and it seemed like the music that I was listening to, it was some Aphex Twin kind of techno.
It's all about the alpha-ethyltryptamine.
Yeah. What are you talking about, tryptamine? But anyways.
Alpha-ethyltryptamine.
Ah, yes. That's a shame that got it illegal, too, but...
Sounds like Henry. Alpha-ethyltryptamine, and LSD, and much more.
A lot of people don't bother about their friends in the vegetable kingdom. They think, what can I say? What can a person like myself say to a vegetable? But the answer is simple, my friends. Just call and tell them how you feel about muffins, pumpkins, wax paper, Caledonia mahogany's elbows, and green things in general. And soon a new rapport, you and your new little green and yellow buddies, grooving together. Oh no, maintaining your fullness together, worshiping together in the church of your choice. Only in America. Train. Call any vegetable, and the chances are good that the vegetable will respond to you. Oh no, can you see them responding? The pumpkin is breathing hard.
And now the program that asks the question, does a young woman's search for identity and fulfillment take on hidden meaning? And can love overshadow the shadow of the hour? Stay with us now for heartrending contemporary drama on Love of Grass. As we join Debbie and Bob in their quaint but secure leather shop, Debbie is waiting on a customer.
You got papers?
This is a leather shop, baby.
Out of sight.
No papers, no incense, no bells, beads, bananas, pipes, posters, furnace, or pern, just leather.
Out of sight, leather. Got no papers.
No papers, no incense, no bells, no beads, bananas, pipes, posters. Just leather.
Debbie turned suddenly at a sound from the store's back room.
Oomph.
Bob got out of bed.
Morning, baby.
Who'd I hear you talking to?
Dude wanted to buy some papers.
What'd you tell him?
Told him no papers, no beads, no incense, no furnace, no pern, no bells, no
Billy been in today?
Yeah. Said Dave got busted.
Heavy.
They broke in last night while he was asleep. Found 8 lids under the back seat.
Oh, that's a bummer.
A bummer indeed. Debbie paced the small leather shop nervously. 3 of those lids had been for her. Now, with her dope in the hands of the dreaded police, she wondered if she would ever be able to get off again.
Oh, Bob.
Yeah, that's right. This is it. Yeah, baby, this is Leather Shop. Yeah, we take ads, too. The Hard Times Picayune.
The Hard Times Picayune. Bob's pride and joy. He had risen from street peddler to picture paster, finally to advertising manager. And he had helped build the Times-Picayune into the country's leading underground paper. The only underground paper with a sports editor.
Right. What do you want to say in your ad? Wanted. Orange freak. With size 12 feet. No, you don't have to put in your name. You know, we'll give you a box number. You stop by the leather shop and pick up the letters. Maybe buy a vest, watch me, whatever. Right on, baby. Ciao.
Despite the seemingly constant activity, Bob's enterprises were barely enough to keep him and Debbie going. But with the leather shop, the paper, an occasional job playing the 12-string Runa, and a little dealing, they managed to live a peaceful and uncomplicated life.
Chuck.
They're after me. In the back.
Debbie and Bob led Chuck into the back room.
I'm having a hamburger in the drugstore, man, and I got this package, dig?
Big package?
A pound at least. So anyhow, I ate my hamburger and I split, and I forget the package.
You go back?
Of course I go back, and there are 1,000 narcs waiting for me, so I split again, only faster.
You didn't save the package, huh?
No way, man, no way.
Oh, wow.
Wow, indeed. 8 lids gone last night, and now an entire pound.
And 1,000 narcs chasing me.
Yes, and 1,000 narcs chasing the defenseless Chuck. What was he to do?
I gotta hide, man.
But where, man? All we got is 2 rooms, a bed, and a cash register, and you won't fit in the cash register.
And I wouldn't get too close to the bed. I've got it! The window!
You want me to climb out the window?
No, stand in it. They'll never notice you.
Yeah, here, put on this leather cape.
And leather pants.
And here's our $40 leather vest, Chuck. You really look out of sight in it.
Bob.
Sorry, here's a leather hat. Pull it down over your eyes. Out of sight. Oops.
Here, pull the hat up till you get near the window.
Good, now get in the window.
And stand absolutely still.
I can't stand absolutely still.
Here, smoke this.
Okay, nobody moves. Answer it.
Yeah. Out of sight. For sale. Instructions to make synthetic grass from household articles. Right on. That'll be in next issue. Gotta go, babe. Right in the middle of a bust. Ciao. Out of sight.
Okay. You got a guy named Chuck here?
No Chuck. No papers, no incense, no bells, no beads, bananas.
Shut up. Let me see your identification. Okay, what's your name, Bob?
Bob.
Okay, search the place. The kids came in here.
Look, there's a fly on Chuck's nose.
A fly indeed. Chuck struggled to keep from twitching as he watched the narcs move into the store.
Bill, check
What's this?
That's my Runa. I play the Runa.
I don't think he could fit into anywhere. What's in this box?
It's an electric mojo.
Open it up. Close it up. Hey, a couple of you men take a look in the window. Chuck's nerves tensed as the fly started walking up his nose. Debbie and Bob watched helplessly as the narcs headed straight for their defenseless friend. Will the fly leave Chuck alone? Will the narcs leave Chuck alone? Will Debbie and Bob ever be able to score again? Be with us tomorrow for another exciting chapter of Love of Grass.
As the world turns on.
That's right, Ray. This is the Artificial Paradise here on Over the Edge, KPFA and KPFB in Berkeley, KFCF in Fresno, KZFR in Chico.
So let's catch up on the jukebox and play one for the caller.
Yes. Whose number are you going to play?
This was A1. The caller, 2 requests back, 2 callers back, and A1 happens to be Hits of Acid for Allen Ginsberg by Sonic Youth. So let's crank her up. A1.
Today I said goodbye. go. Yellow girls are running backward until the next time. With 6 hits of sunshine, the lights will blind us with blues and haiku. The shadow has a dream where painters look to see and colors burn out. Now I know where I once saw you stepping into muddy water. John's reflection decried perfection. Now you're walking through the garden, wing in the wind. Painters shade their dreams with falling colors. See me wave goodbye forever. Happiness, the goddess lover. Hurry back, remember last time. The hits of sunshine, the hits of gold mine. I'll see you back tonight, where painters love the light and yellow shadow girls.
Walking on water wasn't built in a day. Never mind what the brain said to the mind. Never mind. The molecular message in its passage through the mouth is without flavor. You cannot describe the ecstatic moment in static terms. The utility of nothing. Pulsate in harmony. Jeweled indifference. Gate of the soft mystery. Please do not clutch at the gossamer web. The retinal circus. Prehistoric origins of DNA. Beyond mind. Mushroomed person is poised in space. A disembodied I, invisible, incorporeal, seeing but not seen. epiphenomenal, hallucinogenic plants. Brilliant color.
As a little kid, sure. We don't do anything with the leaves. We burn them.
Diarrhea, kidney, liver, or gallbladder disease, intestinal blockage, or adhesions. If you get new or worse abdominal pain, bloody stool, bad diarrhea, or diarrhea with cramping, training, and dizziness, stop taking Belmont and...
True chemical do you use to open your mind and accelerate learning? True or false? Saying, LSD would make you jump out of windows. My answer to the head, the DA guy, was the rule there is never take LSD over the first floor.
Pass into the room. It's golden bed, radiating all light.
If we want to discourage use of LSD for altering our attitudes, we'll have to encourage such changes in our society that nobody will need it to break through to common sympathy.
They were carrying on a tradition, American tradition.
It is, in effect, instant insanity.
time comes, the wave comes, it happens.
Or just the end of time.
The difference between right and wrong, they do not. They do not know the difference between right and wrong.
Much better chance of walking from a murder than a drug dealer.
The air is full of silver hangings and sheaths. I smile to myself. I know all that there is to know.
I basically believe that drugs are here to help human evolve, to help us to grow in intelligence. I think we're primitive. We don't even know how to use them. We can misuse them. Assholes will always do everything in their power to fuck everything up, you know.
They burned it. We make books of them and then we burn them. Burn whole books of them at one time. Yeah, you're right. You can get 5 to 1, 6 to 1. You can get 10 to life if you're not careful.
Well, you can get really stoned.
Badly burned. I put it in my coffee, and that's how we use it.
Subhuman, but I hate coffee. I know it's a sacrilege. I could be perceived as subhuman, but I hate coffee.
Smoking? Oh, that's for the crazy white guys like Sir Walter Raleigh.
I found an old letter this week turned over by turned over by Marcus Custonian, the Armenian who runs a business on Fleet Street. And it claims that it's a letter from George Washington that proves indubitably that George was a rope salesman.
Champagne gonna hurt me, baby. Cocaine gonna drive me crazy. Ain't nobody's business what I do. I love to drink my liquor way down in Costa Rica. Ain't nobody's business but my own. Don't smoke no pot, don't smoke no hash. I'll find out where that good stuff's stashed. Ain't nobody's business but my own. Drink your whiskey, drink your wine. Narco boys will treat you fine, and it ain't nobody's business but my own. Yes. I'm going down to Chattanooga, Tennessee, with them sweet little women fuss over me. It ain't nobody's business
I
but
said
mine.
cocaine.
I know he's gonna weep and mourn. I swear to God,
Running
it'll
around
wreck
my
your
heart
heart.
and my
It ain't
brain.
nobody's business but mine. Yes, champagne don't hurt me, baby. Cocaine don't drive me crazy. It ain't nobody's business what I do.
I said, come here, mama. Come on,
Way down in the Costa Rica, and ain't
cocaine
nobody
making your
business
poor
but
boy
mine.
so sick.
Going down to Mexico, we're on them Pinnacle Cactus Square. Ain't nobody's business but mine. When I don't lose all can farm, boy, I swear there won't be no harm. Yes, no, no, no.
Oh, sweet mama, well, I thought you understood.
Yeah, it ain't nobody's business, honey, where in the world I make my money. Ain't nobody's business but my own. Ain't nobody's business, kid, where I keep that money hid. Ain't nobody's business but mine. Yeah.
Running round my heart, running round my brain. Oh, bittersweet. Oh, really sweet. Yes, sweet cocaine. I'm hungry flat. I had a youthful face. They were in a hurry. Take all out of space. They needed bombs and tungsten. Oh, and iron too. So they climbed and they dug and they blew. A lot of me got it too.
Mix 4. Take 3.
You're cruising along, eating up reefers.
I'm not the world's straightest guy. I've been known to take drugs, drink bourbon and rye. And I'm not usually the sort that likes to complain. But everybody's talking about how times are so rough, and everybody's still out tooting that stuff. spending all their hard-earned cash on that cocaine. Well, I'm not saying it doesn't make you feel good. At $125 a gram, it certainly should. And you do enough, you feel good for about a half an hour. Now, in the meantime, you've just blown your rent, half your bill money, your car payment, on what is probably nothing more than a capful of xylocaine and flour. Cocaine. Cocaine has this whole damn town gone insane. It's a Peruvian plot to break this country, give us the jitters and steal all our money. Well, I'm much too cheap to ever buy cocaine. Now, if a friend stops by and he happens to have a taste of a couple of lines it might otherwise go to waste, well, my arm could be twisted to help a guy like that out. But when he asks me the big question if I want to buy anything, well, that's when I hear the telephone ring. Or my neighbor's brat kid in the apartment upstairs begins to shout. Now, here's what I'm leading up to, folks. Until there's a government subsidy to buy cocaine for cheap bastards like me, I'll be good and goddamned if I'm giving any South American of my hard-earned dough. I'm already helping the Arabs to purchase the world, putting polar bear coats on these cute little Japanese girls. So don't even ask. Neighbors, the answer is no. Cocaine. Cocaine has this whole damn town gone insane. It's a Colombian plot to break this country, give us the jitters and steal all our money. Well, I'm much too cheap to ever buy cocaine. Well, I'm much too cheap to ever buy cocaine.
In life. I mean, you can overdose on sushi, but still, they're there for a purpose. And I think the challenge of an intelligent life is to learn how to use drugs without abusing them.
Prescription Prevacid has a low occurrence of side effects such as diarrhea, abdominal pain, and nausea. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. Ask your doctor for more information, and if Prevacid is right for you, help prevent the acid.
There are a lot of drugs I don't use more than once a year. I try to take every illegal drug once a year. That's like a Catholic does that, but no big deal.
I really didn't know what was going on all around me during the 60s, but that something was going on was crystal clear. There was the establishment, also known as them, and the freaks among who I counted myself at my junior age. So I might not have known exactly what we were about, but I knew exactly what we were against. We were against them. That included my parents and teachers. It was us, and it was against them.
Evolve to help us to grow in intelligence.
I knew who they were, and I knew whose side I was on.
Assholes will always do everything in their power to fuck everything up.
And we were wonderful, I have to admit, we really were. It was inevitable, there had to be a confrontation. There had been occasional flare-ups. Little us against them, violent eruptions here and there. Little standoffs.
I try to take every illegal drug once a year.
march and we protested, and we were marvelous. We were going to win the war. They got the guns, but we got the numbers, right?
My eyes are seeing you. My eyes are seeing you.
Wrong. When the confrontation finally came, it was so puny and we were so ill-equipped to deal with it in Chicago, they hit us, and they hit us hard. Hit us and our faith shattered under the impact. There we were with our peace symbols and our slogans and our banners and our songs and our sandals, and they came at us with their army boots and their guns and their tanks and their batons and their tear gas canisters, and they mowed us down. They hit women and they hit children and they hit men and they hit students and they hit long hairs and short hairs alike. They hit all of us. They
It's not drugs.
We didn't fall.
I know just where I'm going. I'm gonna try for the kingdom if I can, 'cause it makes me feel that I'm a man when I put this mic into my vein. And I tell you things aren't quite the same when I'm rushing home a run, and I feel like Jesus' son, and I guess that I just don't know, and I guess that I just don't know. I have made big decision. I'm gonna know by my light when the blood begins to flow, when it squirts at the top of his neck, when the smack goes and hits my blood, when I'm closing in on death, and my head begins to whirl. If you can't help me, knock your girls, all you guys with all your tough, you can all go take a walk, take where the river flows, off the railings round the bus, and the buildings form a sign, looking off from a mother's time, and I guess that I just don't know, oh I guess that I just don't know. I wish that I lived 100 years ago. I wish that I sailed the darkened seas on a great big clipper ship, going from this land here to that, the sailor's suit and cap, away from the big city, where man cannot be free from the evils of this town, all himself and goes around. I wish I'd traveled all around, and I guess that I just don't know. Oh, babe, I guess that I just don't know.
Drove all night, came at dawn to a warm, misty place, barking dogs and the sound of running water. Thomas and Charlie, I said. What?
I thought that I
That's the
should
name
read
of this
over your
town.
show.
We climbed
This is the
straight up
letter
from
that
here
you found.
10,000 feet. I took a fix and went to sleep in the back seat.
February
He was a good
4th,
driver, you can tell as
1784.
soon
My
as
darling
he touches
Nabby.
the wheel. Mexico City, where Lupita sits like an Aztec
On the road
earth
again,
goddess,
heading to
doling
Quincy.
out her little papers of lousy shit.
Company
Selling is more of a habit than using,
lodgings
Lupita
at the
says.
farmer's roost in
Non-using
Rathole,
pushers have a contact habit, and
where
that's
foul
one you
weather and
can't kick.
fouler foodstuffs have
Agents
laid
get
most
it,
of our
too.
company grievously low.
Take Bradley, the buyer, best narcotics agent in the industry.
news. Now, here's the
Anyone
part
would
that
make you
didn't-
for junk. I mean, you can walk up to a pusher and score direct. He is so anonymous, gray, and spectral, the pusher don't remember him afterwards. So he twists one after the other. Well, the fire comes to look more and more like a junkie. Can't drink, can't get it up.
And rumored to be heavy, heady, and of good savor this season.
Bi or simply disinterested.
Disinterested.
Whatever you are.
Quote,
Whoever you are.
to stretch a neck, end quote. The local wags are wont to say.
In his eyes.
When getting to the cause. And they thought that because estrogen is decreased when a woman reaches menopause,
And you know what that means.
hormones involved that also decrease. It's a natural.
Then you know you're talking to that reefer.
I don't know what that means, but
Have you ever met that funny reefer man?
we are all hired to
Have you ever met that funny reefer man?
purchase our share, for the work will be
If he
hard.
trades you dimes for nickels and calls watermelon pickles,
Soon,
then you know you're
so a
talking
short
to that
detour to
reefer
Scoff's
man.
Breath or to market will be a likely move. The defiled Mr. Quincy agrees to this, and I shall be there to enjoy the pick of the pick on the spot with a full load in my pants.
I sure would like to meet that funny reefer man. I sure would like to meet that reefer man. They say he walks the ocean anytime he takes a notion. He must be tight like that reefer man.
Hey, I got a jukebox thing that wants to play itself. This is a quickie called Chinese Rocks by the Heartbreakers. Dig it, kids.
Don't you say? Don't you say? Hey, do you think that's
I don't do the thinking around here.
I am live on the show.
Hey, do you think that's
I don't do the thinking around here.
Here's a bird. With a cat named Yo-Yo and a girlfriend named Valerie. With a cat named Yo-Yo and a girlfriend named Valerie, baby.
Indeed, my duties notwithstanding, as head of state, I hope I shall never miss the peculiar.
So, Buster
joys
Brown, are you
of
getting
the-
high tonight?
Hey, man, I'd like to be getting high tonight.
Don't tell me you're on nothing.
I'm
Not
on-
even
I'm
a
on
drink?
nothing.
A drink, a cup of coffee, a cigadoo?
No, I'm going to have a cigarette, though.
That's the nicotine of something. It's not nothing.
I rolled my own.
That's interesting.
I rolled 60 top cigarettes.
You know, I can roll with one club paper. You know what a club paper is?
Yeah.
One little glueless club paper. They're the most organic and lovely little papers. I can make a joint about 2.5 times a cigarette, or 2 times a cigarette, let's say.
Yeah, you smoke pot?
You know it, baby. I've had a cookie and a couple of bowls tonight, and I'm feeling all right.
Right on. Do you do meth?
Pardon me?
Do you snort meth?
Nope.
No?
I'll tell you, I had 5 years from 1969 through 74 where I tried everything that was around. Everything, I mean everything, you know. And I mean not the worst shit, but everything good.
That's
And
cool.
then since then, it's just been weed and a little alcohol.
Right on.
20 that's 30 years.
I have a 9-week-old kitten named Yo-Yo.
Oh, that's... Yeah, yayo?
Yo-Yo.
Yayo means cocaine, do you
No,
know?
Yo-Yo.
So don't call him Yayo, or the people will snort him up.
Yo-yo.
You ever snort your baby?
No, but I'll snort yours. HotToddy.com, baby.
My baby is 32 years old.
Ups of GW. Oh, and there's a PS here. Tell Henderson at Mystic that although the teeth continue to hold up well, I fear that one of the oak molars may be trying to take root. Please advise.
Well, I think you've proved once again conclusively that our first prez was... that's a shame. You think you can put the corner right back on
I'll
that?
repair that, and this will be, you will be able to see this letter for $1.50 apiece over at the mansion.
Oslo? Yes. I'd like to read a poem I wrote upon trying the alcoholic, mildly hallucinogenic beverage called absinthe.
Very fine. I'm sure it will be thorough. And
okay.
Do you have your own music for this?
Yes, I do.
All right.
This is entitled La Fée Verte, the Green Fairy. What difference is there between a glass of absinthe and a sunset? Oscar Wilde. To abscond. Maybe we'll start from the top and pretend that Oslo didn't fuck it up.
You messed it up, Oswald.
Uh-oh, there's a caller too. And he even fucked me up by leaving a caller on the air. But caller, I'll leave you on the air. I won't hang up with you. Be quiet just for the poem, okay?
All right.
And then we talk after. Thank you. La Fée Verte, the Green Fairy, notes on absinthe. What difference is there between a glass of absinthe and a sunset? To abscond, hide away. To be absent, keep away. To absinthiate, louche, oblique. To be one-eyed, slow motion deer in the gloaming of the pass. The hills behind, preternaturally lit. A rotogravure calendar page. Thy sugared tongue to bitter wormwood taste. Absinthial. The coagulant sun flattens out, leaving an intensity and dimensionality of greenness overlooked. I leap into it for a second, then climb back out, up the ravine with the aid of the moon to the waiting car. Subsonic guitar, impending calm, bemusement. The diaphanous fairy with great invisible wings, as dissembling as an aphid. Mists erase nearby hills, the first stars mimicked by heavy air traffic. Time, a syrup, stirred, effervescent, refractory air bubbles, roseate in the green milk. The herbal world at the verge of mineral space. The eye recalled, etched in metal, of a fluted spoon. Launched on the explorer deep into the galaxy. A metal piano spool. Archetypal photograph of man and his mirror. Repeated in crop patterns, near radio towers, in green atmosphere, taste of brass buttons.
that we now know has many very serious side effects. To keep your blood sugar under control with these synthetic...
This is cross-sleeping. No, get him out of here. This is Oslo, Norway. And you're listening to... Yes, go ahead.
That was a beautiful poem, I must say.
Thank you.
And I thank you.
I only asked you how long it was because I wanted to take a break.
I had started the poem. How can I interject dialogue to you?
Well, see, I think that's
and
funny.
your dialogue.
I thought that would be funny.
I wasn't trying to be funny.
I thought it would maybe
I was
even
trying
strike
to
you
be
funny.
somewhat poetic.
That's the best time to be funny. But you can get right out of it again. Anyway. Probably a huge mistake.
I'm a little irritable tonight. It must be the planet.
Yes.
Isn't there supposed to be a meteor shower tonight?
Yes,
That's
there is.
right.
We can't see a thing.
We can imagine it. Just to know it's there is wonderful. I'll be back later. This is Dr. Void.
You're also doing a character, so I came back as Crosley, as another character. But then apparently someone was taking the poem very seriously.
Oslo.
That was probably a huge.
Hey, Oslo, I don't know why you're
interruption.
telling me all of this. Dr. Void has left the moment, fled for the moment.
Ray, when you stocked drugs in the store, did you have any illegal drugs for sale there?
Well, I don't want to go into anything that's retroactively incriminating.
I don't think it would be.
You'd be surprised.
I bet there's a statute of limitations on selling drugs. I bet you there is.
You think so?
Probably.
Well,
don't think it would
LSD
be a
wasn't
good idea to
illegal
sell
when my
drugs
father
anyways.
started selling it. Excuse me?
I don't think it'd be a good idea to sell drugs on the air anyways.
Oh, no, not on the air. I was asking you about his store, Ray's Drugs.
Caller,
down
do you
on-
remember Ray's Drugs on the university?
Yeah, we all used to
For
hang
many
out
years.
there for years.
Yeah. Well, we had, before it was illegal, I did sell LSD over the counter as a vitamin supplement.
Yeah.
And at another point, we were sending to Arizona for a lot of peyote buttons in the 50s. Again, this was my father's initiative. My father was really among the original Beats and the Beat generation, which were started in Berkeley and San Francisco and North Beach, you know?
Yeah. There was a, is that selling LSD like a herbal supplement or whatever?
Yeah.
Is that like how they're selling alpha ethyl?
I hear that. See, what you can do is
male enhancer.
Yeah, you come up with this stuff, and then the feds finally find out about it and make it legal.
Yeah.
It's much faster now, but
Yeah.
I remember I was
went
at
from-
somebody's house and they were drinking that GBH shit and all that stuff, and they were acting like I should try it, but you know, I've read of people just like freaking out on that stuff, and I really don't want to use my body for an experiment site anymore, although I did some interesting stuff when I was young.
If you would ever feel like experimenting with new drugs, there's
No, I don't.
chemicals.
That's what I'm saying, I don't. I just like smoking weed and occasionally a little drink, you know? I like a little
like
drink
me.
of wine when I go to Mass and they give me wine and the Eucharist. That's my hallucinogen.
I like rum all the time.
Ray, speaking of weed, we need to run a commercial right now.
Okay.
So we'll be right back with the Perfect Paradise.
That's an artificial paradise.
Perfect Artificially Paralyzed.
You're cruising along, eating up reefers.
Keep things moving, keep things rolling along. Man, we're talking.
Reefers.
Man, he's talking.
Reefers.
Keep things moving, keep things rolling along. Man, we're talking.
Yeah, man, I'm talking reefers. Sweet and easy. Less sway on your pullouts to pass slower moving traffic.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It's easy to pass slower moving traffic.
Man.
No sweat on those reefers.
Man, he's talking.
Keep in mind, I'm talking
Easy tracking,
reefers.
easy handling.
Reefers.
Keep things moving, keep things rolling along.
Yeah. Safe, smooth, no sweat.
Keep things moving, keep things rolling along. Man,
Yeah.
man, he's rolling along.
Reefers. Yeah.
Keep rolling along.
Sweet reefers.
Man,
Yes, that's a mighty good name to keep in mind.
man, we're talking.
Reefers.
Man, he's talking.
Yeah, reefers for the real rugged going, with a minimum of downtime. Stop. Stop. You're in time.
Keep things moving, keep things rolling along.
Yeah, you're in time.
Keep things moving.
You're in stop. Quick.
And we're talking.
Yeah, reefers for easy tracking, quick handling, safe, smooth stops. I'm talking sweep. You're in stop. Quick.
Keep things moving.
Quick.
Man, we're talking.
You're in.
Man.
You're in. I'm talking along, safe, smooth, reefers, you're in stop. Quick.
Man, we're talking.
Reefers.
Man, he's talking.
Reefers, you're in. Quick.
Keep things rolling.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, reefers. So if you're in the business of hauling reefers and eating reefers, take it all. It's easy.
Keep things moving.
Why settle for less? There's a nationwide network of dealers to serve you. Stop. Quick. Stop. Quick. You're in time.
Take 3.
Stop. Safe. You're in stop. You're in stop. Stop.
Take 7.
Sweet reefers. You're in stop. 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 Quick. Stop. Stop. Quick.
Safe.
The program is brought to you by the Medicinal Marijuana Growers Group of Northern California. You're in reefer country.
Celebrex should not be taken if you've had aspirin-sensitive asthma or allergic reaction due to aspirin or other arthritis medicines or certain drugs called sulfonamides. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems.
If you're suffering from pain, inflammation, or stiffness, maybe you should stop trying to manage it on your own.
And there was a girl who took off her clothes. Now, that was one of the first times I've seen someone on stage trying to get naked, you know. People would just get down and make love on the side of the stage. There was a place off to the right there they'd really love to be, and you can see them sometimes in the strobe lights making love.
Everybody must get stoned.
From starlight to flashlight, sorting out the copyright takes a little time, but the contract's airtight. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
He reminds me of Dr.
If I seem unwilling to succeed, I'm still waiting for the ashtray to lead me astray. The money's in the black, but the needle's in the red. 1, 2, check.
Wednesday.
It must be that cocaine available, you know, at Balliol Brothers for $11,000 a kilo now.
Yeah, suck it to me.
Well, you know, the bombings last week cleared away a lot of the room in the store over at Balliol Brothers Pharmacy. to pass it on to their customers with a big, blessed Kratos sale.
I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving, hysterical, naked, dragging themselves through the Negro streets at dawn, looking for an angry fix.
Everybody get to work on time. The rain man gave me 2 cures. Then he said, jump right in. The one was Texas medicine. The other was just railroad gin. And like a fool I mixed them, and it strangled up my mind. And now people just get uglier, and I have no sense of time.
It's a regiment to a smoker. It's a Kent.
Negroes a go-go, big special. Modern woman's attempt to remove herself from the traditional restraints of Negroes, elks, and people with hair on different parts of their bodies. Yeah. 3 Negro hippie drug users, in quotes, modern day life. Confusing? Yes. Right on.
Very sick, man. I'm glad it's over now. Well,
Or not.
Yeah.
Which is happily not resolved in this program. The women become entranced with Negro hippie Spanish-speaking drug cultures.
I'm glad it's over now. Because I'm getting very sick here.
Long like this, you know.
Since youth.
With the tremors.
Serious case. Are you getting sick here?
Noah's been sick for about a week now, off and on.
I don't want to get sick in there. Or I fall into the camera. What? I've done just about everything else to the camera. Not to fall into it. I thought you were going to throw up. That'd be pleasant, man. I never throw up, first thing in the morning.
Nice ending, isn't it? You could do this in early morning.
But I never throw up. Very pleasant ending.
Cooking with Dylan, we'll call it.
A little vomiting and,
What's the pot for?
Direction.
What's the shit pot for?
And leave with them in a 1964 Plymouth that one of the guys just traded for a pound of sugared grass.
Sugared grass! That's a nightmare from my past. One time, the first time we ever saved up enough money to go to Boston and buy a key of pot, you know? Tired of being ripped off of the nickel and dime fellas, you know?
Yes.
So we get there, and it's the big kids, you know, we're rather young. And there's some really Svengali looking hippie, quite handsome with his long mustache and long hair. And he's breaking up this enormous mound of marijuana into pounds. It came in kilos, so we wanted a pound. So we bought it, and the pipe goes around, and everybody's saying how good it was. It seemed kind of harsh to us, but we were little rabbits in the fox's den in a way. And then we were stuck with this pound of heavily sugared marijuana. I don't know why they did that, supposedly to stick it together in the key, but it completely ruined it in terms of pleasant smoking.
The sugar was just for sticking?
Sticking it together in a kilo, or, you know, who maybe it increased the weight by spraying sugar water on it, and somebody put too much on this batch?
Oh, I'm not so sure. I've been smoking sugar lately, and there's something in that, too.
Well, I don't know if we could get the sugar high from smoking the weed.
I can't recommend it, but it is legal.
It was also very, very seedy.
Yes. I was wondering if you've ever experienced any non-physiological effects of psychedelic drugs.
Non-physiological?
Non-physiological,
as in
like
supernatural or metaphysical?
Or ideas?
Supernatural or metaphysical,
well,
or
you betcha, baby.
Technological.
You betcha, baby.
All right.
Practically the only experience I can remember on psychedelics is sitting around a campfire on the beach and sort of lying back around this campfire, 3 or 4 other people, and they all turned into insects. I mean, like these grasshopper-type insects lounging on the beach. Well, I have a vivid memory of that and not much else.
That's a good one. I'll tell you, careful listeners will remember my first LSD trip. That was times 4 and very heavy dose. My most remarkable perception during that trip was being inside the inner room of the mind. You know how your mind is a room within the room you're in, you know? Well, I was in the room of my mind watching reality play on 2 television screens as a saxophone played just outside the periphery of my mental vision, and mist was coming out of the saxophone. But I had completely left the phenomenological perception of apparent sensory phenomena that people out of consensus and fear call reality into a completely other realm.
Sounds like an Ibogaine trip that I've heard of in the book Breaking Open the Head.
Uh-huh. Well, Ibogaine is another interesting substance, as is Yahe, which is one of the more wrenching trips one can take.
Yes, yes.
I've also tried things like Hawaiian baby wood rose seed, which is a near LSD compound.
I've tried that, but with no success.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what they were telling us we were having, but who knows, you know? My last psychedelic agent that I took was after returning from Mexico, and a lot of really the best psychedelic experiences I ever had, better than LSD, except for that first LSD trip, which was good-bad because of its incredible power.
Yeah.
But I was on Martha's Vineyard, and I was hitchhiking, and a friend stopped who hadn't seen. He insisted I try these magic mushrooms he had. I took a spoonful of them. It was just LSD on store mushrooms put in a blender or something. And then he took us to Art Buchwald's daughter's wedding reception, Art Buchwald's house, as I got off on LSD. And that night, a full moon on Martha's Vineyard was my last agent of psychedelia, entheogen as they're now called.
Yes, yes. Well, on a research chemical called the 2CI that I mentioned earlier, I've learned, and many other people have learned, that it seems to have weird, unpredictable effects on technology.
Well, weird is a sort of rather indistinct phrase.
Televisions will stop working properly. Smoke detectors will go off with no smoke in the room. Microwaves will...
One time when I was watching The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock, a bird flew into my picture window.
Sounds like a classic psychedelic coincidence.
Oh, how is it that I could come out?
Hey, what, you want to give us a letter and a number? We'll put you on the jukebox.
G5.
G5, well, you got to come in next.
All right.
Just relaxed and paying attention. All my two-dimensional boundaries were gone. I had lost to them badly. I saw that world crumble and thought I was dead, but I found my senses still working. And as I continued to drop through the hole, I found all surrounding to show me that joy innocently is. Just be quiet and feel it around you. And I opened my heart to the whole universe, and I found it was loving. And I saw the great blunder my teachers had made, scientific delirium madness. Oh, I will keep falling as long as I live, or without ending. And I will remember the place that is now, that has ended before the beginning. Oh.
The taste of Kent. The taste of Kent. The taste of Kent.
Well, right after this commercial, we're going to play another jukebox selection by our last caller. He selected G5, which is Drug Train by The Cramps.
It's accomplished.
Sit down, get away from it. Sit down, get away from it. Sit down, get away from it.
Eventually, though, your nose burns, your tolerance skyrockets, and graduating to the needle starts to feel like the only thing to do. Somebody looking in from the outside would probably say it was because of my mom dying when I was little, or because I had low self-esteem, or because of the pressures of getting into college, or the fact that all my friends had bigger houses, or whatever. Who knows? All I knew then was that I wanted to feel different than I did. Cooler, smarter, thinner. Just, I don't know, better.
Let's go check on Samantha. No, hey, I'll be up in a second.
Do you understand?
Frequently modulated, frequency modulated.
Forever.
Your interference free.
Forever and ever.
Is the universal media network.
Ever and ever.
Oh, Darlene Yakamoto is 90 minutes of that.
Well, some may say that's an oversimplification.
That's an oversimplification.
But it's better than killing people, isn't it? Yes, welcome to Algeria, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, wonderful, wonderful.
I'm armed and dangerous if I just knew who I was.
Right. I talked to the Prime Minister this morning. We had a tab of acid, talked about world politics. We spent 4 hours crying in Arabic. It's really far out.
I love America. God, I love it. Harvard. Were you ever at Harvard?
No, I never was at Harvard, though. I've been to Mecca. Far out. Oh, boy, pretty psychedelic. They won't let any white men go unless they're in the CIA, you know. Changes them after they come back, right? It's like seeing Donald Duck on acid. I mean, once you've really saying, I'll do it, you know? Peter Bergman is now putting on a mat for the benefit of the radio audience. Taking our typical psychological point, called seeing Donald Duck.
And now, here's Dr. Leary.
As Dr. Leary said, once you've seen the archetypes, once you've shaken hands or hooves with Prince Valiant and Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse, it's never the same. I mean, once you meet him, once he says, "Hi, I'm God," like that, then you have to deal with yourself on another plane.
You know, that's not right.
Yeah, right.
You know, that's not right.
What the?
For the court of the crimson.
Some of my trips had to do with coming back to a crystalline consciousness where everything seemed pure and new and innocent, like a Garden of Eden.
A passing plane, a 707, right? Yes, Dr. Leary's been spending a lot of time on planes recently.
The Black Queen chants the funeral march, the cracked brass bells will ring to summon back the fire witch to the court of the crimson.
Bel Oslo. Yeah. Here I am again, perhaps for the last time. I'll share my thoughts and meditations on the wonderful substances of drugs. I recall one time I was watching a television program of Hindu music videos, and the woman says, "Wasn't it Karl Marx who said that religion is the opium of the people?" How true that is, that religion, like the wonderful opium, has such great healing powers. Anyway, tonight I'm going to, our program was entitled Artificial Paradise, a Seraphim theater production. Those terms are from the great poet and thinker and soul, Charles Baudelaire. And we're going to listen now to Baudelaire's ideas on hashish. The mind gazes with a certain melancholy savor through the depth of the years gone by, and audaciously plunges into the infinite horizons. Music expresses your passion, not in a vague and obscure manner as it has done previously, but in a definite, positive manner. Each moment of rhythm delineating the known moment of your soul. Each note a word, and the entire poem that permeates your mind is like a dictionary endowed with life. You are seated, smoking a pipe. You think that you are seated inside the pipe, but the pipe, rather, is smoking you. You exhale yourself in spirals of blue clouds. The fancies last an eternity. Eternity has lasted for exactly 1 minute. And remember, reality is a crutch for those too weak to handle drugs.
I used to hold my Social Security card up in the air, he told me. But I was so small I couldn't see it, all those big guys around. You mean the place with the big green screen, I asked. Anyhow, I finally got on the other day. And Jesus Christ, I couldn't get anywhere. It was too hot. Thing in my sack. So I laid under the truck in the shade, drank wine.
And it strangled up my life. Sense of time.
You can be an American of Asian descent, Pacific Islander, or other.
You can be straight or gay.
Gay or bi.
To keep your blood sugar.
Once upon a time,
that it suppressed the symptoms.
in the land of rhyme.
And it is 40% black, and its gangs are mostly black, but the number of Latin gangs is growing. Yeah, to spread their influence and do business in drugs, guns, and
Here at the radio studios of the Caracol Broadcaster, however, there is no airtime for songs that glorify drug trafficking. This morning show is one of the most popular in Colombia. It emits a steady stream of lottery tips, syrupy salsa tunes, and brassy ballads, songs that Colombians refer to as ironing music.
But your mind won't turn off. And if you take something to help you sleep, you may feel even worse the next day. But your doctor has things that can really work. It worked for me.
So talk to your doctor or visit shuteye.com.
You could be sleeping
taking
right now.
MAOIs or Pemicide shouldn't take so long.
Turn off. And if you take something to help you sleep, you may feel even worse the next day.
The side effects may include
Your doctor has things that can really work.
sexual side effects,
It worked for
diarrhea.
me.
So talk to your doctor or visit .com.
You could be sleeping right
If
now.
you have a history of diarrhea, kidney, liver, or gallbladder
Sleeping right
disease,
now.
intestinal blockage, or adhesions. If you get near work,
So talk to your doctor or visit shuteye.com.
You could be sleeping
stop
right
taking
now.
Delmon and
It won't turn off. And if you take something to help you sleep, you may feel even worse the next day.
DJ Gustavo Chavez disapproves of the outlaw corridos.
It's exhausted, but your mind won't turn off. And if you take something to help you sleep, you may feel even worse the next day. But your doctor has things that can really work. It worked for me.
So talk to your doctor. Visit shuteye.com.
You could be sleeping right now.
Airwick.
Another bust. Oh, it's good. See, the news here is solid. Third page, second arrest.
for anyone who happened to be along and for themselves it went.
And here's my gig. He hurts. Oh yeah, see? Philly bust. Hurt this. Conscious of this. I'm at a club.
I'd try and I'd strain.
Last year. I was a little afraid. Anytime I get a fever, I get chills.
Their refrain.
Got 3 days off and I really copped down on normal.
But the words tumbled out of my head.
Have it down to the hospital. Check in the hospital. Schluff on me. Get out of the hospital.
So take a hand, take a
Prescription. Go to the pharmacist. Fill a prescription. 12 hours later, in bed, schluffed out. Who is that? Open up the door, Mr. Bruce.
No, he's outside.
sleep a certain time, I'd never want any girl.
Timothy Leary's dead.
Please, Mr. Bruce, open up the door for your own good. Open up the door.
Right. What those students wanted.
Because I'm a good guest, those good.
They wanted to change their own major.
Good. The door on the wall came down. Nervous.
I was talking to some leftists, some liberals at the LA Weekly. Liberals, LA Weekly.
All right. Watch this and this and this and this.
Jay said, well, what those Chinese students want, after all, they just want Cadillacs. Well, goddamn right.
Then that's already. I'm not feeling what I was going to ask. Come on, you dope addict now.
They want Cadillacs, they want VWs, they want surfboards, they want soap, they want blue jeans, they want the fucking option to decide how to live their life. They want to select their majors.
Watch it. Name's Lenny Bruce. Where I live, I get them.
That's what the whole movement of post-industrial information age, movement of individualism is not to leave communism, go to capitalism, go back to fundamentalist Islamic Christianity. People want to have a choice.
Harry Forheat. What are you doing with all these books here? I smoked them at night. They're all dipped in secret shtick-offenheit. Every page. In fact, if you go, you didn't know this when any town, you just cut the ad out of the paper from the jazz club and smoking out of your kaya. Can I? He's putting you on now.
Hunter Thompson.
Hey, you know, Oslo, I never played my own jukebox myself tonight. So if you don't mind, I'm going to play, I get to look at what the letters correspond to. So I'm going to remember that I used to smoke a lot, and I know you smoke a lot. So here's a song called I Smoke a Lot, and it's by Kay's Choice. Start the jukebox.
Talking weed or pot, I smoke the regular stuff. I smoke a lot, and if you're a smoker too, you ought to know sometimes it's tough to be in healthy company. People who always say you smoke a lot. Imagine the amount of money you could save if you'd quit. You smoke a lot, by now you have a bike. Aren't you concerned about the kids? Well, of course sure am concerned a bit, but about that bike I could get killed with it. And if that's what you really want, it's not. So I smoke a lot. I smoke a lot. My God, I smoke a lot, and I feel fine.
Apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? I am the doctor.
I took one look out here and saw fear. I don't know, how about, how would you feel being the last dope fiend? There's an old civil rights axiom that the weakest link in any civil rights case is always the defendant.
Tricycline Low is from the #1 maker of prescription birth control.
Yeah, imagine being a lawyer and getting a call from me.
Hey, what are you doing with all these books?
That's why I
here?
try to behave myself. And I advise the same to you, all of you.
Option of deciding how to live their lives. In China, they wanted to be able to date a girl in public.
Any town, you just cut the air out of your kaya.
Well, that's good advice. This is, after all, a very aggressively Calvinist period. Let me offer my condolences to all of you in this generation that will have to grow up.
Well, we had all of our favorite druggies on the show tonight. We had Hunter Thompson, who's speaking now, and William Burroughs, and Timothy Leary, and
I don't know how you could have any more favorites than that.
We got Mount Rushmore of drugs. Ken Kesey, and Herbert Hunky.
I feel the purpose of the program has been fulfilled tonight.
I agree.
Live all your life with the idea that sex is
sexually transmitted diseases.
Yeah.
Serious. Tricycline Low. You get clinically proven effectiveness, cycles that are more predictable, and it's nice to know that Ortho Tricycline Low is from the #1 maker of prescription birth control. The pill does not protect against HIV or sexually transmitted diseases. Serious risks include blood clot, stroke, and heart attack. Cigarette smoking increases these risks, especially if you're a smoker over 35. Women who use the pill
I tried to get a little in on coffee, which we missed entirely.
not to smoke. Women who have blood clots, certain
Well, we
cancers,
talked
a
about
history of
using
heart
it
attack or
ourselves,
stroke,
so it's
and
in
those
there.
who could be pregnant should not use the pill.
Nothing wrong with that.
Or
It's
call
legal.
1-800-THE-PILL.
Mentioned a lot of drugs. Hey, I'm going to enter a lot into the record.
1 month free trial.
What about
See how
the
offering
strange
legal
hallucinogens that the natives of the world take? Things like mescalbean and Vyvka and Cebu and Sinistra.
And that's right. And we didn't even get to right here in America the big untold story of how drug has affected art in the 20th century.
That's the beauty of clarinets.
That's the beauty of clarinets.
Big topic. Maybe we'll save that for later.
I know what you mean.
Drugs have affected art in the 20th century more than drugs have affected art ever before in the history of art.
Well, we know Van Gogh and Picasso were big absinthe users. And
20th century.
What century did you want to talk about?
That's it. I'm saying in the 20th century, it has had a huge effect on the arts.
Pollock was a big alcoholic.
Yes, well, that's obvious.
Warhol and his crowd took a lot of speed. And pot, of course, is the uber drug. It's the underlying... It's not even a drug, but let's face it. Coffee is not a drug, but it contains a drug.
It's a stimulant.
Marijuana
Speed
is not
is
a
just-
drug, but it contains several drugs. What I'm saying is you wouldn't call coffee a drug, but it does contain a drug.
Yeah. Well, right. But that's because it's legal.
When I say that this political movement, the aim of which is to choose your major, has never happened in human history before.
The rain is poison. They only have the sun.
We never asked you, Oslo, what sort of drugs have you used in your day?
Give you cancer.
Oh, I took cancer for a while.
You ever try LSD, Oslo?
And
yes.
Did you ever try peyote?
Not the organic kind.
Did you ever try nitrous oxide?
No.
Did you ever try DMT?
No.
Did you ever try mescaline?
Yes.
Did you ever try magic mushrooms?
I don't even remember. Maybe that's why.
Did you ever try barbiturates, which are Reds, Secanols,
yes.
sleeping pills?
Yes.
Ever tried heroin? You're on record right now.
I didn't think they were sleeping pills.
Did you ever try heroin?
No.
That's the question.
No, I didn't. I'm afraid to try heroin.
Cocaine.
It's the only one I'm really afraid to try, except maybe that animal tranquilizer.
Did you try cocaine?
Yes.
Did you try...
I'm peeking. And I, like you, only like marijuana now.
What about a little alcohol?
Only. Alcohol, like coffee, is not a drug.
What about nicotine?
Nicotine is becoming a drug, but it's still pretty much a product.
What about analgesics?
No, never touch them.
What about Vicodin, Oxycontin, Percodan?
No, I'm just not up to date.
What about Valium?
Yes.
Very good. What about cigarettes?
Of course.
You sit there crying, riding your beer. You say you got trouble.
Well, you got any more?
Oh, sure. Have you ever tried...
Don't tell me you're
Hang on 1 second here.
I got enough of my own.
How about absinthe?
No.
Hashish?
Yes.
You have tried hashish? How about Crossroads?
What's that?
A type of speed diet pill?
No.
Benzodrine?
No.
Methadone?
No.
Amyl nitrate?
Methadone I have, yes.
Oh. How about, have you ever eaten marijuana cookies or brownies or hashish there?
Yes, of course, you couldn't escape that.
How about Majoon, which is a Moroccan hashish fudge?
Wouldn't know. I had some pretty fudgy stuff.
Did you ever sniff glue?
No.
Ever have a hash oil?
I don't remember that one either. Probably not.
Have you ever tried propranolol?
I once dropped a pill I found in an abandoned icebox.
Really?
Yeah, it was in that freezer section.
How old were you?
I was in my 20s.
So you figured if someone put it in the freezer, it was probably a good pill?
Yeah, they abandoned it. They forgot it was there, and it's probably something good. You know what? I felt nothing. It's like the first time I ever took any kind of pill and felt absolutely nothing.
I see.
I was a girl then, though.
Oh, have you ever tried hormones or melatonin for sleeping?
No.
Have you ever tried Botox?
Get that music off.
Be
thankful you're living.
What do you do with Botox? Snort it?
Drink up and go home.
Botox, is that for your skin?
That is some strange derivation that they inject into people to change the shape of their lips or other parts of their face.
That's not a drug.
Well, I guess. It's a hormone. I had changed to... I asked you if you ever use hormones.
Psychoactive stuff is the only
hormones,
thing I call...
There's synthetic hormones, which are drugs. It's a sticky poop shoot.
And the world stands still, not a sound, not a sound. There is love to be found. In the worst way, in the worst way, in the worst way.
Medicines or certain drugs called sulfonamides.
In rare cases, it's the buzz, it's the buzz. Stretch your soul and your senses too. And that shepherd will up alongside of you, singing, standing on an oak. It's the buzz, it's the buzz. I wish I was.
It made Chris realize the danger.
It's the buzz, it's the buzz, it's the buzz of fun. It's nothing you wouldn't want to hear.
So high and I just didn't give a shit for anyone.
Singing.
Most of the time I've been singing. She had come home one night with one of her friends after 3 days. Her life didn't revolve, but spun centrifugally around stimulants, opiates, johns. It's precipitate coming to the top. When she heard that Benny had been paroled, she went to Brooklyn, first buying 10 dozen Benzodrine tablets, and and sat in the Greeks all night, following Vinny. Please, Vinny. The dream almost carrying over to consciousness. The Benzedrine making it even more difficult not to try to animate the dream. Put another Benzedrine.
I'm in between lanes right now.
Put a nickel in the shoebox and started wiggling as it
Revolutionary cat.
Now, the Surgeon General is going to tell us that people get down to things like mead and near beer. Yeah, it isn't the law that bothers you so much. It's being chased around and scorned by your ex-peers.
Let me demonstrate or prove to you why I feel that way. The notion of thinking for yourself, making your own life decisions, navigating your own career throughout your life.
It all started with Mary Jane.
Of choosing your own life, choosing how you want to dress.
Now, he started with marijuana, certainly, Doctor. Now, young X, we'll call you young X.
That's his name.
In Jesus, I would have to run, scurry like a rat from place to place.
XX.
What dealers did you associate with?
I
you have a
used
steady connection.
Yeah. The dealers that I used to hang out with, Ralph Williams, I used to hang out with him.
With the gods are gone and the souls making sounds.
I can't afford to feel guilty, and I don't really think I am. But for some reason, I have lived for 26 years without a job and 25 without sleep. I've never claimed to be anything but a nice guy and an athlete.
And the guy with the dog, I used to meet him a lot. We used to go and drink together.
That's Chick.
Chick and I were like that. I'm on top.
And it's true. I'm a judicious user of drugs.
When she heard that Vinny had been paroled, she went to Brooklyn, first buying 10 dozen Benzedrine tablets.
Now keep in mind that I'm a doctor. And plus I am one of the highest living authorities on that subject.
Choosing where you want to live. Really, that's pretty recent, as is the notion of progress, for that matter, revolution. Throughout most of human history, the notion coming for people to say, I want to encourage you young people to think for yourself, was simply out of the question. In a hunter-gatherer society, if I were to go to a New Guinea tribe and say, tribal elders, gather the young people here, I want to urge them to think for themselves, they say, what do you mean, man, think for yourself? Choose your major. There's only one major, hunter or gatherer.
I got a feeling that you throw up in the world. It's not gonna be
Ladies and gentlemen, the hour is upon us. I'd like now to ask you to leave in a disorderly fashion. Before you do, I want you to invade the offices, which are over there in the corner, through that door over there, and as far as you can, loot them. Office equipment, computers, musical equipment, take it all, use it wisely, let 1,000 Mancunians bloom. Good night, God bless.
That's about it tonight for
Hey, it's been a groove being here with you, Oslo.
Are we changing the title to that?
No, it was called Artificial Paradise, a Seraphim Theater production.
That's right, slipped
a
my
substance
mind.
abuse enhancement seminar.
Merely slipped my mind.
Time for your radio medication.
Could happen to anyone.
All drugs all night. Call in, wear headphones, and drink lots of H2O. And we have to, we're obliged by law to say this disclaimer. This program is intended as theory and as entertainment. Please do not try these drugs at home.
To create is divine. To reproduce is human. Man Ray.
Disconnecting.